Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We are still bringing you matches. The NBA, NHL, March Madness, Spring Training, all gone. Link to the Past Randomizer League, still here. Tonight we are featuring a match between Relkin and Hobojim. Relkin is representing I Like Big Boots, which is so far undefeated, and Hobojim representing Swedish Rubbers, who are currently 1-2. So it should be interesting to see if maybe Hobojim can pull an upset. Going up against an undefeated team is always a good challenge. Anyway, I'm Drosy1. I'm here with Dazed Cloud. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing just fine here, just settling in with a little bit of coffee and a nice breakfast to get everything going here. Having a fun little week 2 ambrosia seed here ahead of us. For those of you who aren't 100% sure what we're looking at here, if you look at our sprites there on Relkin and Hobojim's side, both of them already have swords. And as soon as we hit start, we're going to get a hint from our uncle telling us where the boots are. And today that hint is, well, they're in the light world somewhere, which can be many, many places. Now, the other big difference with this kind of a general standard start is that we're going to go ahead and every single dungeon boss will have an item today. So we're going to have to see exactly how that's going to change these runners' routing and such. We're looking forward to a pretty good race here, I think.
Yeah, and I believe Relkin gave us an early map check. I believe that was a 5-6 crystal in Eastern, a regular crystal in Hera, and I think a pendant in Desert.
I think that's what I saw as well. So yeah, it's hard to say exactly what that's really going to do there. Since you know that the boots are somewhere in the light world here, that can mean anywhere from checkerboard cave and green pendant to pedestal to something easy, just like sitting right there in Kakariko waiting for you to pick them up. Yeah, gonna have to see what these guys routing and how everything is gonna change out here, as we've already got a master sword.
Yeah, well, that's nice for defeating enemies. Seeing it that early is not necessarily something you want, because it does kind of hint that this might be an Agaseed.
Yeah, and with ambrosia, it's a lot of times agaseeds seem to be even more common than usual. It's pretty crazy how that kind of works out, but hopefully we're not going to have to waste a whole lot of time with that, as both of these runners are making their way through escape here pretty easily here. That master sword is just giving things, a nice smooth entry through at right now. Killing these enemies is not hard for these guys right now.
Yeah, and the thing about ambrosia seeds is they tend to be kind of stacked with a lot of good items pretty early on. The flip side is that they can send you on some crazy wild goose chases for those last couple of go mode items.
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, every so often you'll see a Jet Ambrosia seed, but I feel like more of them have been fairly long, where there are just 1 or 2 items that are absolutely last locationed.
You really spend half the time with one of these. Either if you do get the jet seed, it's fantastic, and you're done in like an hour and 10, an hour and 20 minutes, and then you just feel amazing at that point. But a lot of times, yeah, like you said, you're really, really looking for it there, and it can make these things a lot of fun here. It's going to really depend on how many pendant dungeons we're going to need to dip today. Hopefully nothing too extreme, right?
Yeah, I mean, seeing Desert as a pendant isn't bad because it only has 2 items, so relatively unlikely that either of those 2 items are progression, and it's kind of a pain to get into because you either need the book or flute plus mitts plus mirror.
Definitely, and that's one thing that I hope these runners really do keep in mind here is because we're playing Ambrosia, there's always a guaranteed item on the bosses. So something like a Desert Palace only has one guaranteed item up front. Unless you can beat the boss, you don't really want to jump into places like Desert Palace or Skull Woods, Tower of Hera, Misery Mire, because there's a whole lot less of a benefit to doing something like that, especially if they're pendants.
But it does mean that once you start down that path, pedestal very quickly becomes a possibility. Because you have to beat the boss anyway to get the boss's item, and then you're collecting pendants right there.
Exactly. Like, so you do. I've been commentating a race here probably about, I don't know, that ended maybe about 40 minutes before, where we got to see a pedestal pull, and it had a big 20 on it. So yeah, the runner who did that felt really good about that too, let me tell you.
But last night I commentated a race, and the Turtle Rock Medallion was sitting on pedestal.
Yeah, that's a much worse one.
Yeah. And both runners truly last location bet.
Well, I mean, at that point, why wouldn't you? You know, I mean, you've got so many other places that you would rather go. Now, like, one good thing for both of these runners is that they were able to pick up a 3-pack of bombs. So we don't have to deal with any sort of escape shenanigans here, where you come back to the back of escape and don't have a bomb, and you just kind of have to sit there and go, I'll come back for you later. So we're going to be picking up these 3 items right now, and hopefully we'll get something good and can get things really going.
I mean, the extra bombs are nice because now we know we can get through Kakariko without having to buy bombs, but other than that, not too much.
Oof, and those were some poor items there. Was that a single arrow, a big 20, and a 3-pack of bombs? Yeah, okay, thanks, guys. Well, you want to try a little harder there, game? Come on now.
Yeah, as I say, you can't turn your nose up at a 3-pack of bombs this early, but the other 2 are, I mean, and I guess we're slowly getting bottle merchant money.
I mean, the good thing about Hobojim's there got the less money there with only 61 rupees. So, I mean, not great, but that's enough that the back of Blind's hut and the bottom of the well there will give you the money that you need for the bottle merchant. There it is. There's the guy I'm talking about. It's a coffee morning for me. Ooh. Oh, there are, yeah, bombs.
Yeah, that bush crab, I mean, it's a good way to refill your bombs if you need bombs at any point.
At this point.
And that's a bottle on Lumberjack.
Ooh, that is a bottle on Lumberjack. I mean, it's going to be a very specific... a very specific sequence of events that will require us getting that. So I don't think any of the runners are going to be going, you know what, the progression is on that single bottle on Lumberjack Ledge, because there's 4 bottles in the game. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be going there.
Okay, Lumberjack definitely dead now.
Hi, Fairy. That's awesome. A much more convenient one.
Also means they can route in Sick Kid when they do Kakariko now.
Is much better. That's the way you want to do it. You don't want to put off Sick Kid till later, because that's one of those checks that you can easily later in the game just kind of go, what am I missing? And because you've walked by it 500 times, you just stop thinking about it.
Yeah, even better are those rare seeds where Hammer and Powder somehow both turn up in Kakariko, and you check Magic Bat your first time through as well.
Right. I mean, there's lots of things, and the prophecy has been fulfilled, and we are now actually in a speed run with getting a Cane of Samaria there. So let's go fast, boys. We got things to do. We got places to see today.
And we got lots of money, too.
Fantastic. So we can get that, like, at this point, we're starting to get close to where setting up a water walk down around Ice Rod Cave is going to be really profitable for the runners because you can knock out a couple more checks without any problem there.
Yeah, you don't even need the Moon Pearl to glitch into Waterfall Cave at that point.
We're going to have to see what these guys want to do, though, because it's still a bit early to say exactly where everything is, and still kind of looking for stuff as we find our first glove of the day. So there's the first hint that we might not need to do Aga, which we're all hoping for.
Yeah, as long as we don't see that lamp, we can keep up hope that this isn't an Agaseed.
And let's go to the chicken house here and see if we can get a chicken clip here. No, we don't want to be cute and maybe soft lock your game. Well, I mean, everybody's got a different choice, I guess. It's always one of those things where when a runner I've seen a runner pull that in the tournament there and unfortunately pretty much lose their match to a chicken clip gone awry. So I can completely understand not doing that in this setting here, as Sick Kid just gives us a little plastic shield that can protect some rocks.
But the back of the tavern has the much more useful mitts, so just need the Moon Pearl and we can get to a chunk of Dark World here. Not all of Dark World, but a pretty good chunk.
Yeah, I mean, Aga is looking like he's not going to be an issue today. Now, the one thing with that having those mitts being our Dark World entry instead of the hammer is we could still have some shenanigans where we put the hammer inside the pyramid and then all sorts of fun things happen at that point.
Or the hammer could be in pod and you need a kern jump to avoid Aga one.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways you can get around it at that point because we do have the fun boots right now. So if you wanted to, you could set a water walk up out of Skull Woods to get around it as well. There's a couple of things you can do at that point. I'm kind of almost hoping for it at this so we can see some cool tech.
Speaking of the boots, between the early boots and the early Titans mitts, you never see an 11-minute King's Tomb check.
That's a rarity right there, but it good on Relkin for remembering that that's something that he needs to do there, because those early boots, you wanted to get these checks out of the way quick, and we're gonna get a Bonk Rocks check here as well, and then I assume a save and quit, and we'll be heading somewhere else.
Probably South Shore.
It seems that way. As Hobojim is, at least so far, shown us that we get I believe that was a heart container out of the dam, and pretty quickly here we're going to see what was hiding underneath the water, and that's just a piece of heart which he's going to just ignore, and it looks like we're going to the desert.
Interesting play. I mean, Aegina is very easy to orphan, so sometimes if it has progression, it's a nice thing to get out of the way early. And just a vanilla heart piece on Desert Ledge there.
Nothing too interesting. I don't see either of the runners taking a whole lot of time to go pick that up here. This desert one, this is one of those places where if you check this and you find, say, the Moon Pearl in this case, there's a very good chance that your opponent will, last location this as far as getting into the Dark World. So it's a place you can get a little bit of an advantage. Unfortunately, that's just a piece of heart.
So that's 3 vanilla pieces of heart in a row. Draining the Swamp, Desert Ledge, and Aegina.
Yeah, that's not exactly what either of these runners are for. And I'm kind of surprised that Hobojim is running out of Agna's cave there, and he's heading back to, I would assume this is to Mini Moldorm, as Relkin picks up a lucky fairy there. He was a little bit down on health there, but he's full now.
Yeah, I guess Hobojim figured with the boots it's not that much faster to save and quit, but there's the Moon Pearl, so we do have partial Dark World access. Aga is on life support.
Yeah, we're gonna need something special to get ourselves an Aga tower climb, which I, for one, am completely okay with because, man, I'm tired of seeing Aga after playing this game for the past couple of years. So let's go to the Ice Rod Cave. Let's see if these guys want to be settling up for any sort of water walk shenanigans or any sort of fun things with that here. As Relkin's holding his sword out for nice little idea there. I didn't know you could set up a spin speed off of those steps there, but I'll have to remember.
Me neither.
Yeah. That's part of the fun of commentating and getting involved in the thing like this, is that you can find all sorts of different tech from other people that you never even knew about.
So Relkin is skipping Hobo and skipping the Lake Hylia Island check. It'll be interesting to see if Hobojim checks them. He's also going for the water walk. No. Hobojim is just doing the fake flipper. Interesting. No? Wait. Yes, he's setting up fake flipper.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit slower. I mean, he's going to get the same checks there. I guess he's going to check in Hobo where Relkin's not, but I mean, unless Hobo's got something, it's not really going to help him a whole lot, because Relkin's getting through these checks a lot quicker than he will be able to, and Zora's not going to give you anything today.
That was 50 rupees per arrow.
And I mean, I don't even think retro mode silvers would. Well, I guess that is about retro mode silvers.
Yeah.
That's not a good return on your investment there, unfortunately. So Relkin's gonna move his way over to our one little Dark World portal that we have access to over here north of Kakariko Village, since we've got the mitts. Hobojim's gonna go and he's gonna get his bad news that all of this fake flipper shenanigans aren't really helpful today.
We have a map check
exactly
here.
what we're gonna find. Ooh,
that was a 5/6 crystal in Skullwoods, green pendant on Eastern, and the other pendant on Meyer.
Right, that green pendant there on Pod. So that one on Meyer maybe suggests that we might not be finding the flute today. So I hope these guys like running, because we might not be flying. Okay, onward we go. Let's check the brewery here, as Hobojim has basically got his water walk thanks to the waterfall cave. We get a mushroom out of the brewery, and Hobojim is about to get himself ripped off by the good old friend Big Fish.
Now that's interesting, because that does make fake powder available to Relkin. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back here in the light world, maybe if he does Smith chain. Well, no, sorry, he needs either hammer or mirror for that. Scratch that.
Yeah, if you've got mirror, you're gonna be really having to really gamble that one, because you would be losing your portal, plus you'd be losing all of your magic. I mean, it would be a bit of a guess there, as we've got two dungeon items for our first two chests in Thieves Town. So hopefully these next two are a little bit better. And then Relkin will have the decision of whether or not he wants to go all the way to the back without the hammer.
Oof. Odds are increasing that there is an item. Oh, wow.
Oh my god, that's the full 4 dungeon items in the front of Thieves Town.
So Relkin's death warping out, and Yeah, that means every check in the back has an item, including the hammerlocked big chest.
I don't know what it is, but I've seen that a lot lately, and that's the worst possible layout for Thieves Town, and especially when you don't have the hammer, because you're not really gonna want to go back for that, not until you have the hammer. But I mean, there are a couple of chests back there that could easily have the hammer, so yay. 50 rupees on 2 digs in the shovel game. Not bad.
Yeah, I've certainly seen the hammer in, like, attic chest before.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, just you. That's all I can say there. Is we're gonna get a spin speed frog pickup here for Relkin.
And without the mirror, Jeremiah is getting a world tour.
This gets into, luckily for probably Jeremiah here, we don't have bow and we don't have hammer, so I don't think Relkin will be willing to trade him in for a monkey here in a minute, but we'll have to see.
You were saying about that flute not showing up because Myers a pendant?
I was saying nothing of the sort, sir. I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, no, there's a flute there on Stumpy, so yeah, time to go find some other things there. So maybe we're going to Meyer after all. Hooray! Pendant Meyer, everybody's favorite.
But that's all the more reason for Relkin to go back to Kakariko soon, so he will get the Smith turn in at least.
A little careful there, getting a little low on health. Wisely going to the front of the NPC there for picking up his blue mail, and there's a bow as well. And I was about to say, if we got a hammer, I'd start feeling bad for Jeremiah, but nothing there.
That's a solid 4 or 5 hype cave, I'd say.
Yeah, you get blue mail with relatively low health, and then a bow. Yeah, you're gonna need that bow for Eastern Palace. So 100%, I'm in favor of that hype cave.
Now, Hobojim going into Skullwoods is an interesting play because we know one of the items is on Mothula, and we know we can't get to Mothula without the Fire Rod, so he's coming in here for one item.
And from what it looks like, he didn't get it either. And it looks like, from what I can tell, the big key is in the bridge chest in the back of Skull Woods, and our other item will be locked in the big chest there. So yeah, that's part of the problem of doing an Ambrosia seed, is you got to change your routing a little bit, especially when it comes to dungeons, because things like that can happen, and that hurts. The big key can lock itself in Skull Woods. That is right too. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what it is there.
Well, nothing on the Smiths today. It'll be interesting to see if Hobojim goes for the back of Thieves Town, though, because blind's beatable even if you can't get at that one big chest.
Yeah, very true. And we're gonna jump down and take a quick look at the desert ledge on Relkin's side, and then probably head into Misery Mire, it looks like.
Or at least check it. We don't have a medallion.
Well, the Mire area, at least, here. We'll call it that. And that was Bombos?
I was about to say that was way too fast for me to catch what it was.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the position is a little bit shaky there, but
we now have 2 fetch quests at our disposal here between Shovel and Mushroom.
Which one do you think is going to have your progression today?
Interesting question.
Well, let's see where we're going first. It looks like we're going Shovel first, and I kind of like this on Relkin's side because you just got the flute. The flute led to the shovel. Let's follow the chain. Close the loop.
Oh,
what do we have?
Wow. It's the Fire Rod, so better routing on Relkin's side. He can now do Skullwoods, and we'll find out what Mothula has and what the bridge chest has.
Well, the other part of that too is that makes the that makes Eastern Palace fully clearable if if the big key is, say, sitting in one of the first 3 chests there. Now, if it's in its vanilla location, it's still not in logic. But right now, the Eastern Palace is looking pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, especially with Skullwoods and Eastern being the 5-6 crystals, we could have a pretty early Pyramid Fairy check.
Dude, we're going to find that hammer in the Pyramid Fairy after all. Ooh, yay.
Now, why the heck is Relkin doing the front checks first? Because he knows Moth has an item.
This is the problem with Ambrosia, is that you have to kind of knock yourself out of your routines in a lot of ways. Because, I mean, most people, when they're doing this, were gonna run to the front here, check their items, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the Moth. That's a pretty common route for people. Unfortunately, this is just bleeding time in his case. Like, if he had gone straight to the back, he would have both items pretty quickly.
Yeah, and you know, if he were a bit weaker, I could see, okay, maybe he doesn't feel ready to take on Moth yet, but you know, 7 Hearts Blue Mail Master Sword, it's not how I'd like to do Moth, but it's a doable Moth.
And it looks like he's got a green potion there in his menu as well, as Hobojim gets bailed out of the top of Thieves Town there unfortunately had to use his fairy, as he's just gonna go straight to the back of Thieves Town already. Part of me likes this play, but I mean, it can also incredibly backfire on him if that big chest has something. Grasshoppers do not mess around up there in the attic of Thieves Town. They do two hearts of damage on green mail, and they move around in a very awkward way.
Okay, so this is also interesting routing for Relkin, that normally without the mirror you'd do Mothula first.
Yeah, I kind of like it this way though. If that chest had turned out to be tempered, he looks like a genius.
True. Or if it had been the mirror.
Exactly. I mean, I kind of like that routing when you know that there's going to be something in there guaranteed, because like the other way that you would do it is you'd go down there and then usually like Death Warp or something to get back to the front. And since you don't really want to do that this time, you might as well pick it up, see if you get lucky.
And with the boots, it's also not as bad because you can run out of there without it taking too terribly long. So what's Blind gotta have on him?
Yeah, no, as we were talking about Relkin, though, Hobojim picked up a tempered sword out of Blind's cell there, it looks like. And gotta be careful, though, he is down on health here. If he gets nailed by either of those heads, he's gonna be down. That'll take him down with green mail. Pulls it out there, clutches it out. Great fight from him. And on Relkin's side, he's dealing with a problem of his own right there.
But yeah, there's Bombos. So if we think that's Meyer, that's our Meyer access, and Meyer's in fact full clearable with Boots of Fire Source and Cane of Samaria. So that's not necessarily a good thing.
No, that's what you're telling me is these guys are about to have an extremely fun low health Meyer fight, which I think I might just want to pass on, honestly. Like, no thank you.
Well, with Blue Mail, it's not as bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's doable. I mean, there's lots of ways you can do it. You can do the traditional kind of NMG strat of damage boosting through the goo to get a couple of hits in. You can also just do the kind of the easy strat of taking all of your bombs and hucking them, and softening.
And hey, there's a bit more health too.
Health is good. What are these guys going to want to do with this now? I mean, because you do have Eastern Palace completable. And where are we going to go here? We're going to get a bumper cave check. Okay.
Quick glimpse, but it looked like just a big 20.
That was what I saw as well. As Hobojim is about to pick up his good stuff right there. He's going to get his blue mail and also grab his bow in just a second.
Ooh, so Relkin is continuing the Smith chain, grabbing that purple chest.
This is a good time to do it because he's probably going to save and quit, go turn in the purple chest, and then I assume we're going to be running over to Eastern Palace. So, I mean, this is about as good of a time as he's going to get to kind of knock this out. It's good routing on his side, for sure.
And he might not have the mirror, but he does have the flute, so he doesn't have to walk too much of the way.
One more place left open to our runners that neither have been yet is we've not been up to the mountain to save the old man and such like that. Like, well, there's only one item actually in logic for that at the moment. But it looks like we're headed to Agana, I guess, first on Relkin's side here.
Why not? He's in the neighborhood.
I might as well get it out of the way. Don't have to think about it. Just one last thing, you know, one of those more locations that you just don't have to really worry about.
And then hopefully there's progression in the 6 checks we'll be getting between Sahasrala's Closet and Eastern. Because that seems like the next logical place to go.
Right, and Hobojim is making a beeline for Eastern right now, so it looks like he's decided that this one is going to be his first dungeon here. It seems like he is kind of maybe going the long way a bit here. He's already been to Sasharala, hasn't he?
Nope.
No, he hasn't. That's right. I'm getting my seeds mixed up, sorry.
Ooh, and Relkin does a hard reset to avoid the to regain his mushroom at the expense of the red mail, and Sahasrala had a heck of a closet today with a gold sword, a lamp, and the ice rod.
Man, that was a very, very nice little back of Sasharala's closet there. I mean, man, you get those 3 items there. One thing to basically kill every boss in the game in like 2 hits. One thing so that you don't have to do dark rooms anymore, and then the most annoying item in the game. I mean, that's one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
That means that Death Mountain is now in logic, though we still can't get past Turtle Rock. Eastern is full clearable in logic regardless of the item layout.
Yeah, and Eastern is, because that is the big key there. So we are 100% in logic here. Now these runners are pretty much just kind of hoping that one of these first 2 chests, 2 of these first 3 chests now are going to have items, because they don't really want to have to go all the way around to the traditional big key chest back there, because that's a long, boring, dumb walk. Well, that's a bad sign.
Well, they basically need the compass to be in the vanilla big key chest at this point, or long walk.
That's what we're hoping for, because, unfortunately, otherwise, we're going to have to go all the way back there and probably damage boost through those anti-fairies. So, let's hope for no compass to show up here really quickly.
But there's our first item, and it's just bombs.
All right, now hopefully the big chest is going to play nice and give us the second item, and we can go directly to the Armos Knights here.
Ooh! It gives us an item to speed up that Armos fight.
Wow. So, hi, Silvers.
So, when the time comes for Ganon, we are going to have a Buttersword Silvers fight. Apologies to, the fantasy players who drafted these two runners, but you're just not going to get many points off of them for bosses and Ganon tonight.
Yeah, at this point, you're just going to take whoever wins. I mean, now the one thing is, like, Relkin... No, he's not going to miss the, he's not going to miss Gold Sword either, because it's just sitting there in blind cell, so yeah, he's not missing that unless he's in go mode when he enters Thieves Town.
Which seems unlikely.
We'll see what Armor Knights gives to us, though.
So no actual progression in Eastern, though those silvers are certainly nice.
Oh, we're starting to get to that point where... Man, we're starting to get to that point where that might start coming in, because you've got... I mean, Mire is less of an issue now that you have silvers and Gold Sword. I mean, you're not super scared of Vitreous now.
You might have to think about dipping Pod, though, which you can do everything except Homosaur at this point.
To get to Pod, though, we don't have access quite yet.
Except by Kern Jump. We don't have logical access.
I mean, because, like, at this point, you could make the big brain play of doing the Kern Jump, but part of you is also going to wonder, okay, like, do I got something like the hook shot sitting in Mire? Because if I got the hook shot sitting in Mire, then I want to be on the mountain. I don't want to be sitting there going to Pod, because a pendant Pod is one of those things where you're kind of going, I don't know if I want to do this, and I mean, it's an awkward choice to have to make, especially in a 1v1 where something like that could really kill your time.
Hey, did you see what's sitting on top of Spectacle Rock there?
Yeah, those are the flippers, and there's the powder hiding inside Spectacle Rock. Oh boy.
That is the second race I've calmed in as many days with the powder inside Spectacle Rock.
That's another thing that we could lock behind. Where did that bomb go away? Relkin was carrying a bomb up the stairs.
Yeah, it exploded and didn't seem to actually do anything. I'm not sure I've seen that before.
I have many questions. Okay, and Relkin is deciding, I don't want powder since I have fake powder. He's gonna go back to the Dark World, it looks like.
Which means I think he is planning to Kern Jump, because I don't see what else he could be doing in this direction without the mirror.
This is a fun little bit of tech there that, I mean, it's one of those things that's, it's not hard to do once you know the setup, but the setup is a bit tricky to pull off a Kern Jump here, as it looks like Hobojim decides that, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick up that red mail here. Smartly, Relkin's going to go ahead and kill the High Knock there. And then he's got to set himself up on the right pixel here, and it looks like he's got it right there. And then it's just a timing thing of you got to jump in at the same time as the bomb explodes. It'll knock you down to the screen transition, and as long as you're holding down, you fake flipper and you pop right across the water there. Relkin did that magnificently on his first attempt, and it's a lot of times it'll take people 2 or 3 attempts.
Yeah, that was super clean, and he is not going to Orphan Catfish either. He is doing that before he does anything else east side. Ooh, he missed the circle.
Just a little hiccup there, gotta do it again. Now he's gonna try flowers for the catfish. Maybe he'll get a better item.
Nope. No good bribery of catfish today.
Yeah, well, he's not even, he doesn't even want to pick that up either. He's like, oh, that's just nothing I want anyway. And yeah, Hobojim seems to be going the same way. He's kind of going through the graveyard because, why not? But he'll be looking to make this exact same play, it looks like, and he should be able to kill this Hinock even faster with that Butter Sword.
It's amazing, though, because Kern Jump was discovered less than a year ago, and already it's become such an essential play because there have been so many seeds where it removes Aga from the equation.
Now, I'm not sure what Hobojim is doing exactly there. This might be a setup that I'm not familiar with. I think he's trying to time it that way, and
he got it.
He got it, but he's going the wrong way.
Guess he forgot where the stairs were.
Yeah, you gotta head back the other way there, buddy. Alright, he's working his way back to the stairs. He'll figure this out pretty quickly here as Relkin is now jumping into pod. Now, even though we did this Kern jump here, this still might mean that we have an Aga seed ahead of us here. As you saw, those flippers were on the top of Spectacle Rock. If we put the mirror, say, someplace, say, in the pyramid, you're still having to, you're still gonna have to, well, you might not have to complete it. It's gonna really kind of depend on what the hammer's doing.
Yeah, I suppose mirror in pyramid and hammer in first chest Swamp Palace would be kind of evil, and you'd have to do some serious glitching to avoid Aga at that point.
Oh yeah. I mean, kind of evil is this game's middle name sometimes. it's part of the fun of sitting over here and talking about this game versus playing some of those seeds. It's just, yeah, I'm okay with just watching that occasionally. Although I have been known to break into like hysterical laughter when the game does something like that to me, as Relkin's having a little trouble deciding exactly which route he wants to take through pod, so he's now decided to go on the more traditional way.
Yeah, it's a bit tough because if you do find a key in that first chest, you do normally then go to Arena Ledge. But without the hammer, going to the bow-locked side is a dead end, so that's kind of tough there.
Yeah, no hammer, no mirror usually equals a nice, fun death warp to either this. Since it's blue mail, it's probably going to be the spikes instead of the jellies. But both of these guys are in the same place with with two different dungeons cleared right now. Because let's see where the flute led to the, which led to the fire rod right now, which is the difference between Hobojim and Relkin here. As we grab a couple of keys and start taking some damage, it looks like we're going to be setting up for a death warp here.
Oh yeah, I forgot that the shovel was in Meyer Shed.
Yep, and here it is, the nice, slow, spiky death warp, as Mario says, ow, pointy, and goes back to the beginning. What do you think? Do you think we're going to find anything in here?
I don't know, but having found 4 keys in the front already, we now have to go up to the vanilla big key chest and see if it might not be a key.
This is kind of the fun thing, is that there's a guaranteed 4 keys in the front of pod every single time. Now, that can be 5, and it could also be the incredibly rare 6 key front of pod, as well as, yeah, it was a 5 key front of pod. So,
and Relkin's death warping again.
I don't know if this is faster, but I mean, it works. I can't fault the decision by any means.
Yeah, there was a seed, I forget whether it was this week or last week, but at some point in the league, I did see all 6 keys in the front of pod. It was crazy.
I mean, at that point, you just know that, all right, so I need to go to the back because every single thing is in the back of this dungeon right now. So this is where both of these runners are going to kind of find out if this was the right play to make, because at the moment nothing has came out of pod, but we're about to see all of the goodies.
Well, just a fire shield in the turtle chest there. Oh, and there's our 6th key. So for all that, we could have skipped harmless help, eh?
Joys of joys. At least everything's in logic. That's the one kind of thing here, outside of the fact that we kern jump to get here. And there's a blue rupee and the compass. So let's go to the maze.
Yeah, so between the dark maze and the big chest, we will get the map and 2 more items.
Oh man, I'm starting to think we might be doing pyramid here, because we don't have a way to. We might be doing Aga here unless something pops out of these next couple of chests, because
don't forget Misery Mire.
I mean that's the thing, we're running low on checks. It is Misery Mire, and yeah, I think that's all. Did we see yeah, we did see the compass. Okay, so we've got one more check here in pod, and then both runners are going to start feeling really bad. Yeah, that's just a piece of heart.
Pod was a total bust.
I mean, I'm surprised.
So I think the hammer or some sort of progression needs to either be in Misery Mire or Pyramid Fairy, and if it's Pyramid Fairy, we're doing Aga unless these runners can do a heck of a glitch. I don't even remember how the glitch works to get the bomb across if you haven't beaten Aga 1 and don't have the hammer.
The biggest thing is you usually need the mirror.
Oh, whoa, so we were wrong about what Medallion Mire was. Come on, do the burb toss, do the burb toss.
The people what they want.
No burb toss.
Wait a minute. That's huge, actually. That means it 100%.
Yeah. The seed expects you to beat Aga because our Mire access was in pod.
Yeah. This is interesting. So, if... we're either going to find something big in here, or we're going to go do Aga. I mean, that's what this is here.
Now, the nice thing about this being Ambrosia is all you have to get in the front are one item in the big key, and as soon as you get the item in the big key, you can go straight to Vitreous. Of course, it's still possible for either of those things to be in vanilla big key chest, in which case you're going to be taking a while.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's the fun time of both runners are now in Mire trying to figure out if the other thing is. I'm kind of surprised that relkin hasn't hit the. Oh, there's your item. So now you got to find the big key. It's the. At this point, man, yeah, relkin's still gonna have Skull Woods to complete. No, I'm sorry, Thieves Town to think about doing, whereas Hobojim is going to have Skull Woods to think about doing. So we might not see the possible Aga play here very soon. We might be a couple of minutes out from either of these runners having to make that decision. And there's our big key, so we're on to Vitreous.
Well, you got a last location Aga under the circumstances. I mean, anywhere other than beating Aga is faster than beating Aga, so you just have to hope. But unless Viddy's got something, we know they're gonna be Aga bound eventually.
This is nuts here, because we are down to a single location right now, and relkin will get there first. Let's make our way back, because we still got some things to look at here.
Ooh, and relkin did set up the spooky glitch, so that'll save him a bit of time down there.
I love that spooky glitch. It's one of those things that, like, provided you can get the there's a 16 frame window there between where you kick up the dust on your on the dash there and where you lay down the block. Provided you can get that part down, the rest of the glitch is a piece of cake.
Speaking of piece of cake, so is Vitreous with silver arrows.
Oh, is he already dead?
Now he is.
I hadn't finished my thought yet.
Hey, look what he had on him.
Oh, look, we're no longer doing Aga. That's so let's go and complete some other things here.
Now we still need either the mirror or the hookshot for East Death Mountain access. And we need both the mirror and the hookshot for Swamp Palace access, so I'm thinking Relkin will now... Oh, Relkin's on Death... No, he was just getting the refill. He'll probably clear out Thieves Town and then maybe fake Flipper to Ice?
Yeah, that's a hard one to say here. Like this is a tricky one there, because at this point it's where is the hookshot or where is the mirror, because we need one of those to be able to get to Dark Death Mountain. And Hobojim looks to... Okay, no, yeah, he remembered that it's Ambrosia, so he is kind of going the longish way back to Vitreous, but it looks like he's headed there.
I just realized we can now do Pyramid Fairy without needing the Aga portal now that we have the hammer, so it's entirely possible that mirror hookshot is there.
Why not both? Let's make it easy.
Kill two birds with one stone, sure.
Let's get into go mode here. Like these guys have had to struggle enough to get their progression here. Let's just make it easy for them. Let's keep going. Hobojim is making his way back to Vitreous here. I don't believe he set up the spooky glitch, so he's going to have to do it the traditional way, which is, around about 9-10 seconds slower if you're doing spooky perfect. As Relkin, you got the god pixel and it looked pretty. Congrats there, bud. Alright, Hobojim's setting up the block there, doing the nice dash to chase the beam up towards the thing, and Oro is reminding me that, by the way, you do need a fire rod to be able to do the spooky action glitch, so yeah, that's kind of an issue for Hobojim there. And we're going to move our way back over to Vitreous on Hobojim's side. Now, he's got the silver arrows, he's got the what am I saying here? He's got the silver arrows and the butter sword, so he's packed for this. Now, he still needs to avoid getting hit by the eyes, because, they still hurt, but it's not going to be a particularly difficult fight, as he takes one little bit of damage there from one of them. Red Mail makes sure that that's only worth 2 hearts. Pumps Vitreous full of the other 2 silver arrows, and down he goes. We're looking at a hammer on his side, and we get to see what's in the big chest of Thieves Town over on Relkin's side. So this could be a big item here if this turns out to be something.
It is.
Oh dear.
So that gives us flippers, that gives us full Death Mountain access.
And that might actually give it... Well, no, we're still missing a hookshot. But, yeah.
Yeah, depending on TR Medallion, we could just be hookshot from go mode.
That's a thing, and you kind of have to believe that hookshot is likely up in the Paradox Cave, Dark Death Mountain area, somewhere up there. That's I don't usually like to say GG to an item, but that might be too much for Hobojim to Galaxy Brain back to.
Yeah, that's the downside of orphaning the Thieves Town big chest, which is why runners don't like to go to the back of Thieves Town without the hammer.
Unfortunate
The,
for him there.
the flip side, of course, is when the hammer is sitting in the back of Thieves Town.
Or something like a daily I played not that long ago where it was a cape in the maiden cell, and then the hammer was sitting on top of bumper ledge. All sorts of fun ways to do that.
Relkin's going to take us to Graveyard Ledge as his first check with the mirror.
I mean, it makes sense. This is an annoying check to make. It's not like Cave 45 where you can just flute pretty much right to the portal and go directly into it. Now Hobojim on his side, he's gonna. He's going south here. Are you gonna Galaxy Brain this?
Doesn't look it.
Well, this looks like it might be a Smith's check here.
Kind of interesting that he did hammer pegs without the smith. Normally you would grab the smith and then do hammer pegs. Oh, right, he has no mirror. Right. Duh.
Yeah, we're gonna see here now. I'm kind of curious. Is he gonna go and check the big chest now? Because that's something that a lot of guys do. Is they like to route in that together. They'll route in the hammer pegs check, and they'll go up and they'll check the Thieves Town big chest. Now that typically happens at the end of a match, and yeah, he's not doing that. Oh, this is unfortunate for Hobojim there. That's it's just going to push him farther and farther away from it as Relkin picks up his flippers.
Unless he does it when he goes back to get the purple chest. That's the only thing I can see. That's the only thing he has left in the Village of Outcasts area.
Now we're getting a couple of questions here from the chat about exactly how did we end up here. So, well, long story short, we had some kind of a nasty progression at one point that both of these runners were able to avoid. We ended up having to find the hammer on Vitreous, which we needed to get the ether medallion from Pod to get to. So they had to jump. Both of the runners did a current jump in order to get that, as Hobojim picks up his fire rod now. Be turning in the Smith, and I assume going to Skull Woods.
I've already forgotten where that flute was, which was so essential because it locked both the hammer and the fire rod.
We found that on Stumpy.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's been a good long string of events to get us here, but Relkin is now sitting at one item away from go mode with, oh man, something like 11 checks, easy checks ahead of him, and not including the one item that's here on Moldorm.
And there's a Moldorm fall. Which is unfortunate because with Butter Sword, you only need to hit Moldorm twice.
I think that was a Butter Sword induced fall there. It's called I've got Butter Sword. I'm going to be super aggressive about this. And oops, I'm a little too close to the end. Yeah, there he goes. He's exploding now, and that was nice and easy.
Now, the thing to remember is that hookshot could be basically anywhere except in Swamp, which means, yes, it could be on the pedestal.
It could be on the left side Swamp, though. That's the thing. I mean, that's
true, too.
Yeah, that's the ugly, ugly place for it here, which means that if it's on left side Swamp, I'm going to go take a nap for like 30 minutes and come back, because these guys aren't going to find that anytime soon. I mean, we're talking about last locationing things. That's a guaranteed last location, pretty much. All right.
Well, we're going to find out whether we are, in fact, just hookshot away from go mode, as Relkin will show us what the medallion for Turtle Rock is. And it's Vanilla Quake, so we are going to need that medallion, too.
Well, that is one more thing that we need to find now, so we're gonna put the brakes on the go mode train here because we are still a few items away. Now, same thing applies. Still lots of items in this area, so it's fairly decent chance that we're gonna find it here in the next couple of seconds.
Well, there's that hook shot. So now we go to Quake can be anywhere except inside Turtle Rock.
Quake is a much worse go mode item than Hookshot, I kind of feel like, because of like you said, the amount of places that thing can be. Like, whoa, yay, that one. Yeah, that reopens our ped and a couple of other lovely, lovely places.
So while we're on Death Mountain, we still have Spiral Cave, Paradox Cave, and Spike Cave to check. So that is a total of 9 more items we can check while we're up here.
Moth is not wanting to play nice for Hobojim right now. He is deciding that he likes those spikes and he feels safe there, so he's gonna he was hiding up there for the longest time. He's still up there. Come on down and fight. Come on, fight like a bug. Alright, and you're dead.
Hey, Hobojim should just be glad that, you know, the randomizer version is unglitched, because in the original vanilla 1.0 version, you can't actually damage Moth with the Butter Sword because it does the same damage as Spike Tiles, and, well, the developers wanted to make Mothula immune to Spike Tiles, and yeah, if he just happens to be immune to the Gold Sword as well, no biggie, right?
Right. I mean, it's a well-programmed, well-thought-out game because, as you know, nobody would ever go to Mothula with the Gold Sword unless you're being kind of silly in the regular game. But yeah, it works out for us. It's one of the great things of the randomizer developers being able to go ahead and do that. And hello, Quake, and we're in Go mode.
Just over an hour in. Nicely done, Relkin. He doesn't even bother with the rest of Paradox Cave because what the heck could he even get in there?
And with that mirror and everything else, it is just time to go. So what do we got left? We've got a Swamp Palace Go mode, we've got an Ice Palace Go mode, and a Turtle Rock clear, because you don't really Go mode Turtle Rock unless it's obscenely lucky.
But Swamp and Ice are the 2 dungeons that runners most like to go mode, so yeah, I'm sure Relkin is very happy to not have to go searching for items in them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Relkin's probably looking at I'm guessing that he's got to finish here within the next 25 minutes, likely, depending on where that GT big key is and such like that. Because like this Go mode Swamp and this Go mode Ice Palace, like, he'll have probably both of those done within the next 7 minutes, I'm guessing.
And unfortunately, it's going to take something really weird happening for Hobojim to catch up, because even if he went to the Thieves' Town Big Chest right now, he'd still be a full dungeon behind Relkin, and he'd still have to do those Death Mountain checks.
I mean, I really don't hate the play that he made, going into Thieves' Town and, you know, just clearing it out there, because it's like you said, like, occasionally the things that you need are back there, and when that's the case, then a lot of times you can gain yourself a big lead, and especially when there's something like this where, you know, the seed's not really giving you anything, there's a good chance that that's where you were supposed to be anyway. But it comes with a massive risk, and we're seeing it right now.
Hobojim is gonna show us what the big red bomb gets us, though.
A big 20 and, let's say, Cane of Burna.
If you get that right, we're burning you.
I'm I'm okay with that. If I get that right, I'm just leaving. I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go buy myself a lottery ticket.
Ooh,
Nope,
he's
don't do that. Don't do
having
that.
a bit of trouble there.
All right, there you go. He got it back at least. So no, he was able to pull it off. You don't want to do the spin speed until after you lay the bomb. All right. So was I right?
Batting 500.
Uh-oh. Was easy. All right, so Relkin is just going to make his way directly to our good friend Argus and explode him. And we got a couple more explosions to go, and he'll be done with the game at this point. He's motoring through this. He's routed this at pretty much about as good as you can.
And with the butter sword and the silver arrows, this is probably going to be a pretty quick Argus fight.
Oh, and Hobojim on his side, he's going to bet on the green pendant.
That is practically a clinic in how to get all the Argai.
Yep, down he goes, it looks like. Here, just going to pop a silver arrow in him as soon as he wants to jump. There he goes. And bang. We've got Calamari.
And now just run over to ice and up Death Mountain, and that's game.
Unfortunately, it's just Hobojim. Man, that Thieves Town gamble, it usually doesn't bite you. But when it bites you, it's going to be the game for you. It's just nothing you can really do at that point. I mean, trying to galaxy brain that your mirror is hiding in that Thieves Town big chest is gonna be a thing. Relkin is swimming across Lake Hylia, and he's got to lift up this rock and head into Ice Palace. And man, the difference between a go mode Ice Palace and a full clear Ice Palace is huge. So he's going to be done with this very quickly.
And unfortunately, Hobojim is waiting through a 17-second cutscene.
Is it really 17 seconds?
Yep, fun fact, it is just as long as the cutscene in Meyer, but it feels shorter because you can actually see what's happening.
Oh man. And what's worse is today, you didn't need to do it. It's a shame. I mean, I can understand coming back in here, because, I mean, like we said, it's Ambrosia. There is a guaranteed item on Helmasaur. And I kind of wonder if this is kind of one of those Hail Mary plays where you're going, I feel so incredibly behind.
Oh, just to answer chat here, hint tiles are off. That is entirely because Fear Agent, who is the administrator of the league, does not like hint tiles, so they are off throughout the league.
Not only that reason, but that's the reason I like to hear. When in doubt, blame Fear.
Well, he doesn't like hint tiles. I'm not lying.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the higher level runners don't really like them either. So I mean, it's not just Fear, but it's kind of this.
I know.
I very much do like saying, when in doubt, blame Fear. Hobojim taking a nice long look at those 100 rupees and going, oh no.
And now he's going to waste more time turning in that green pendant, probably.
And without that mirror, he's going to have a save and quit and all sorts of fun stuff around there.
Well, at least he has a flute, so he can just flute to 5.
Yeah, I mean, small victory, I guess.
But while he's doing that, Relkin is about 2 rooms away from dropping in on Cold.
And Butter Sword Cold Stare is just one of the most satisfying fights you can have, because Cold Stare typically is an incredibly difficult boss. He's like, especially for, you know, casual runners. For when you've got Butter Sword, don't blink. Let's just say don't blink, because this is going to be a very, very quick fight here. He's going to take off his shell, spin him into the corner, and slash him 3 times. And he's dead.
Yeah, and in case you were wondering why the vanilla game locks Buttersword behind Cold Stare, there's your answer.
That's why.
Just like why the vanilla game locks Silver Arrows behind Vitreous.
The game doesn't want to make it too easy for you. And let's see here. Hobojim, I think, is now swinging for a Spike Cave check here. Yeah, like not doing that Thieves Town check is this, and I don't know, like, what is in his bottles that makes him think he can do this? Blue goo, that would do it. And even then, it's going to be tight.
Yeah, it's not in logic without either the cane or the cape.
I think he's going to make it anyway, though.
No, he's getting up there.
Yeah, he just realized, this isn't going to happen.
Because he doesn't have the hook shot either to advance him through it faster.
Yeah, and even then, the hook shot doesn't really help with your health necessarily, because the moment that you come out of your invincibility frames there with the hook shot, you immediately take damage. So like, in order to get all the way through it there, if you've got a bottle, you're going to need something more like probably the level of health that Relkin has. I think you can maybe do it with 9 hearts as well. But yeah, even then it's tight. As Relkin is making his way into Turtle Rock. This is his last dungeon of the game.
And it looks like Hobojim's gonna fake Flipper into ice here.
It's unfortunate.
Which is yeah, he knows he needs the mirror. He knows that the mirror locks the flippers. So what's he hoping to find here?
Honest, I think he's just forgotten. I think he's just forgotten that he left an item in Thieves Town, and because he's checking everything else.
Because logically, I mean, you know you need the mirror because Swamp's a crystal. And you know the mirror's locking the flippers. So I guess he must be a bit tilted at this point.
I feel like this is probably one of those situations where he knows what's about to happen, and at this point he's just waiting for a dot done from the other side. Because if you're doing this at this point, yeah, you could be just doing this to kind of think, what's my next move? But at the same time, coming into Ice Palace to think is something that you need. You know you need the flippers to get in here, and you know you need the mirror to get the flippers. So unless you're going to gamble that also the hook shot is in here, and he doesn't even know about Quake yet. Unless you're going to gamble that the hook shot is in here, he's going to be full clearing this and just praying that he finds it. And it's a rough one for him. I mean, it's one of those situations where you make a gamble early and it blows up in your face, unfortunately.
So to answer chat, Hobojim can't know where the hookshot is because the hookshot's on East Death Mountain, or actually I think it was in Super Bunny Cave. Does that sound right?
In Super Bunny Cave.
Either way, Light World or Dark World, it's on East Death Mountain, so Mirror's the only way to get there since the hookshot's over there.
Yeah, this is kind of a problem for here as where Relkin is draining all of his magic here to go ahead and try to powder this anti-fairy here. Now he's kind of dealing with a little problem here. He did get it there on the second time, so he's got his health back there after having some misadventures with the chain chomps, which is one thing that's, it happens to everybody.
That is not something you see every day, though, fake powdering an anti-fairy.
What's more interesting is that he had every opportunity to just take like 20 seconds and go pick up the powder there in Spectacle Rock, but he decided not to do it because he has he has the mushroom, and I get it. Does he have? Now, here's an interesting question. Does he have any sort of magic refill?
I don't know what is in his one bottle, but at the same time, there are plenty of magic refills sitting around Turtle Rock.
I guess there is one down here in the bottom left in this next room. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I didn't see if he picked up the big key. Perhaps he did.
The big key's vanilla, and he totally forgot about it.
That's what I thought I saw as well, because I saw him pick up the book, and I thought I saw him pick up the map in the firelocked section there, which means that the big key is sitting there in the lava chest, so he's got to go around again. As Hobojim picked up his what is that? His 4th crystal here.
Yeah, which is as many as he's getting without the mirror.
I mean, at this point, he's got nothing else left, and he needs to go to Thieves Town, which is... Hopefully he's remembered at this point. We're hoping.
Yeah, so I was going to say regarding Relkin that with that big key location, he does not have the luxury of skipping Big Chest anymore, because if that has a key in it, he's going to need it.
Very true, and it looks like Hobojim is remembering here. No?
Why is he going up to Skullwoods?
He not checked the big chest after he got the item? After he killed Mothula?
I guess not.
There it is. Okay, so he's going to get a heart container out of this, which is kind of nice.
When you're still on your first row of hearts.
As Relkin is going to get a chance here to not go to Laser Bridge. Let's see if he actually gets it here. Survey says that's 10 arrows. You're going to Laser Bridge, bud.
But it is a good illustration of why you don't skip Big Chest when you are out of keys.
Okay, and yep, Hobojim has finally decided that, alright, fine, I'll go back to Thieves Town game. I don't want to, but I guess I'll have to.
And he is not going to be happy.
This is one of those situations where I think I have, in his case, he has both medallions and a couple of bombs. I might just go ham on that chest.
And of course the small key on Laser Bridge is probably going to be in the bottom chest. Yep. Because it's always the bottom chest on Laser Bridge that has what you're looking for.
I mean, that's a pretty fair statement, I think, most of the 99.99% of the time.
I love that swag dash with the Samaria blocking the switches.
It looks incredibly smooth when you pull that off there. It's just, it's not hard to do, but man, it's one of those things that just feels good, looks cool, and you're just like, hey, did everyone see what I did? Oh, no? Oh, okay.
And Relkin's going for the 0 cycle on Trinex.
Old sword, it is generally pretty easy to do, and yeah, he pulled that off. Nicely done.
So not surprisingly, Hobojim is going to go up Death Mountain with that mirror. He will find what he's looking for, but it is unfortunately way too late.
And since that is item number, crystal number 7 for Relkin here, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, Math Girl is going to go ahead and start the big key guessing game right now. So get your numbers into chat between 1 and 22. as all three of us were trying to start the big key guessing game.
Yeah, because it had a bit of a lag after Math Girl started, so I wasn't sure it had picked up on it. But yes, it's gone now.
All right, so there, Drosy, what are you thinking there? What's your number?
I don't know. I'm thinking strategically because when we do these league channels, I like to take part of the range that hasn't really been picked yet. So I think I'm going to go with 18 because we tend not to get people guessing really high unless they're guessing like 22. What about you?
I went ahead and threw in a 2 just because, for one, I didn't see anybody else guessing 2, and I figured, you know what, let's be super nice and get this thing done with sub 130.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone guessing less than 5 other than you, so you've probably got a few numbers covered.
Okay, let's go closest there. Small key and big key. And of course not. Commentator loses again.
I think 3 might still win it for you, actually, just because of the sparsity of guesses.
Oh, is this how it works? We're playing closest to the number wins?
Yep, if no one guesses exactly, closest wins. So last night, actually, I guessed 17 and it was 19 and there just weren't high guesses, so I won on that.
Right on there, right on. And we're gonna get a quick little compass room check here because we went right since we got that small key. Relkin's gonna take a quick stop to pick up a magic pot and knock some Gibdos out of the way, and I'm not right again. So we get 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's not in here, so we're gonna be going left.
That was just 6.
Just 6? Yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
right,
7 will be the torch.
Spike room. We didn't do tile room, right? Yeah.
But it's not 7 either.
Just a piece of heart there. So, gonna be going on over into the Stalfos room and hopefully not having to continue any further.
Meanwhile, Hobojim is taking down Moldorm for his 5th crystal.
And pretty soon after, he will get himself into go mode, but not quite yet, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll be in go mode before we get to the tower climb, but we'll see.
So that was 11, still nothing, but hey, we got the cape out of Stalfos' room.
And if you get half magic on top of that, you can just cheese Ganon. And Ganon can't even do anything about it, which is, I mean, to be fair, it is my preferred method of dealing with Ganon, just because it's fun.
But we don't really need to strategize. We don't really need to strategize Ganon too much with Buttersword and Silvers.
No, but I mean, it is fun just to put on the cape and just stand behind him and hammer him over and over and over again. Like, you stupid pig made me play this seed.
Now, Relkin, you'll notice, is disposing of a lot of bombs here. That's because if you can use up all your bombs by the top, it does make menuing a bit easier on the Ganon fight.
The one issue with doing something like that is if you end up using too many of your bombs and you get up to the very top of the thing and you find yourself having to hit the exact, you have to throw the bomb on that one moving walkway that occasionally can stick on the wall. Like, you can find yourself in a bad situation up there, but most practiced NMG runners are pretty good at this.
So, Hobojim is going to get his Quake here in Paradox Cave, but he hasn't been to Super Bunny yet for the hook shot.
Now, remind me here, your guess was 18?
Yeah, so my guess didn't do it, but I might still be able to win on 19.
I'm looking suspiciously over at Math Girl and her constant tile room. See what we get here as we pull a quick 6 arrows out and take care of the Armos Knights. Jeez, that was fast.
It is 21. Tile room just avoid.
And Ganon's Gone Wild is the winner of the Big Key guessing game with his 3 guesses that he eventually got one of them right.
Yeah, that's quite something, because it does only take your last guess.
You know, if you're indecisive, or if other people have already taken your numbers, you might as well guess every number there, and eventually you'll get one of them right. Relkin is making his way, just motoring through the top of GT here, as Hobojim has opened up Turtle Rock and needs to first go and grab his hookshot here out of Super Bunny, which smartly he is doing. Or first he's going to check the first chest of Hookshot Cave here.
Sometimes the hookshot's there. They don't call it Hookshot Cave for nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the reason we call it there. It's not because you have to use the hookshot. It's because of those, like, 1% of the time, or less than that, that you find the hookshot there. I haven't seen a seed like that in a long time, actually. Like, they are hilarious when it's there, but...
I think I saw one during the tournament, but now Hobojim has his hookshot. He is in go mode at 1:24:03, so a full 24 minutes after Relkin hit go mode.
It's just an unfortunate gamble for him here. Because, like, look, that Thief's Town Big Chest doesn't usually have items, but when it does, if you've skipped it, you basically have lost. There's not a whole lot you can do about it at that point, as Relkin sets up for a 0 cycle here on land mode 2, and misses the last one, but almost gets the last one. It's the 1 cycle.
Now, this is where not having the powder is going to be a bit annoying, because it's nice to be able to powder those anti-fairies up on the 6th floor when you're down to 5.5 hearts.
True. I mean, he could decide that if he wants to, he could burn all of his magic beforehand and then powder it and then pick up the full magic container there if he wants to. I mean, it's going to be time consuming to do that, so I imagine he's just going to say, forget it, I'm going.
I think he still has that fairy in the bottle. That was what the bottle originally came with.
You know what, I think you're right as well. So, I mean, there really is not too much of a reason for him to take the time for it.
Yeah, Hobojim took a fairy revive, but... Oh, and there you're saying Relkin's down to his last bomb here. He needs to get this one right. He does.
The other thing about doing it this way is that there is a bomb underneath the pot in there for him to go ahead and pick up if he so desires. So, you know, like, it's a risky, but it's not that risky. Moldorm, what are you doing? Moldorm, what? You dumb worm.
Not gonna bother with his chest, though. Makes sense. What's he gonna find in there? Maybe a heart container?
I mean, yeah, sank heart piece to refill his health, but I mean, honestly, he's blue mail, gold sword. I don't think he's gonna worry about it too much, and especially if he's got a fairy. I mean, worst thing, he takes a bit of a hug from a Ganon or Firebat there and gets his health refilled anyway.
So there's a nice double on the first Aga cycle. And the second, can he get the triple double? No.
That was nice on that second cycle, though, because the pattern was not an easy one.
Well, he ran into a bit of trouble, but he gets Aga on the 5th cycle. And yes, chat pointing out that Jim remembered to get the big key out of its vanilla location in Turtle Rock.
I think that means Jim wins the game. Honestly, I think that's only fair. At least get some bonus points for his fantasy team or something. I think there might be a couple of biased people in chat there, but we're gonna have our Gold Sword Ganon fight now.
And that's my favorite line from Ganon, by the way. I love that spicy barbacoa burrito line.
I'm a fan of the grumble, grumble, grumble. You're supposed to bring food.
He does have a lot of food-themed remarks, like the biggest thing of cheese and how much bacon the average American eats.
Yeah, it's understandable here as we're into phase 3 already.
And some swag spin attacks, too.
Is he going to go for the fantasy points here? So that's the only question left. It doesn't count as silverless if you don't use the silvers.
It does count as silverless if you don't use the silvers, but he used the silvers.
Oh, well, never mind then. All right.
That is a beautiful triple, though, to take down Ganon. Get your GGs in chat.
Yep, throw those GGs down there for Relkin, and he's going to walk across this bridge in just a second, and he will finish this race with an SRL time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 10 minutes. So that's going to be another 3 points for I Like Big Boots.
And a sub 130, which, given how many Trolli Ambrosia seeds we've had, is gotta make you feel pretty nice.
Definitely here. And it looks like I just heard a ping in our chat room here. And oh, okay.
We have Hobojim in here with us.
Okay, so
well, still playing, but
we've gotten
delay.
I assume. I guess we don't have Relkin yet, but Hobojim, GG there, bud.
Hey,
Yeah.
You're quiet, but yeah, we can hear you.
yeah, okay. Well, crank up the volume. Sorry, guys.
And here's Relkin, also joining us.
I'll let the glorious winner go first, so I'll take the back seat here.
No worries here. Well, we'll get as soon as Relkin is there, and GG's there, Relkin.
Hey, GG's.
So, did you guys confer and realize what the big difference was in your routing that made such a time difference at the end of the day?
We have not yet, but I'm assuming it was he didn't last location a bunch of stuff I did.
Specifically, the mirror.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I was kicking myself when I saw where that was. So good games, Relkin. Well done.
I mean, you probably don't even know the full story of how that all happened either. So you probably want to know more about it.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a story behind your Thieves Town approach.
Well, I was just so opposed to going in there without the hammer that I just was like, you know what? Forget doing this. Also, forget doing Aghanim. So let's just turn jump over to East Dark World.
Well, you both had beautiful turn jumps, honestly, and it turned out that the seed was expecting Aga, so that turn jump really paid off for both of you.
I appreciate the compliment, but that was certainly not my best work. I messed it up a couple of times there, but I'm gonna blame the new Swedish rubber controller components and pretend like that's the reason and not my lack of practice.
I'd watch your words there. Your teammate, you're bashing.
But yeah, I mean, the race was pretty good. I didn't know that this was actually in the rules for the league. I didn't realize that Relkin's team was allowed to send people to come break my thumbs before the match. Apparently he did. I mean, it's okay, I fought them off, but I think I sprained my finger, which is like my pumping finger, so that's probably why I lost. I'm not quite sure, though. Could have been a lot of things.
Sorry, I don't have anything to say outside of laughing.
I'll take laughter, that's okay.
I mean,
just kidding, obviously, if anyone watching wasn't aware of that. Just well played, Relkin. I knew it was going to be a pretty rough match there, and I'm Glad that I didn't do anything disastrously stupid. I mean, I did have that trip up Death Mountain for Spike Cave when I couldn't do Spike Cave, and that was dumb. But at that point, I forgot about Thieves Down Big Chest. So, yeah. That's how it works sometimes, you know.
Well, did you guys like those early Buttersword and Silvers at least?
No, I'm never gonna complain about silver and gold, you know. Always nice to have.
Yeah, they were nice to have. I don't know. I mean, I like a little bit of challenge sometimes, so I didn't get to do any silverless.
Oh, who plays Rando for challenge? Come on.
Yeah, we had to apologize to the people who, have you on their fantasy teams that, early Buttersword and Silvers don't make for that many fantasy.
Yeah, I guess not. Sorry, guys.
I mean, I skipped out on the mail upgrade. So there's that.
It was a little surprising that you kind of skipped out on that, and then you went ahead and skipped out on the powder as well. Made for some fun fake powder shenanigans there late in the game, but you seemed to get through them relatively easily.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask about that. Was that just like a matter of principle at that point? You figured, well, I've already hard reset to save my mushroom, so I'm not gonna, even though I'm just gonna save and quit out of Spectacle Rock anyway, I'm not gonna drop down to grab the powder.
I mean, it's a time investment to go get it. You got to remember that. So that's why I didn't want to go get it.
Yeah,
Also,
I probably should have skipped it. I was debating it when I saw it, but I was like, I want to turn in the mushroom because otherwise I'll probably forget about it later.
It's also a time investment to burn down your magic to fake powder and anti-fairy in Turtle Rock, though.
But I was in go mode at that point, so it's okay, right?
Alright, guys. Well, thank you very much for the restream and the interview. I've got to run. I got to work at like 6 hours or something like that. But yeah, thanks again for playing, Relkin, and thank you very much for the classy interview, gentlemen. And thank you very much to Math Girl, who I assume was doing the restreaming. She was the one who set up the room and all that stuff, so thanks a lot.
Yep.
And yeah, hope everybody watching has a wonderful evening, and I'm sure I'll see you guys later.
Yep. GG's.
GG's again.
Thank you for joining us, and of course, do give both of these runners a follow. The league still has 5 more weeks with a lot more settings, and these runners are going to be racing quite a bit over those next 5 weeks, so you definitely want to see them play more. And of course, thank you to Math Girl, our restreamer, Yoinker's wife, our tracker, and my co-com Dazed Cloud, who is not showing up right in that commentary command, but it is Dazed Cloud and not Worldwide Wimpy, just to reassure you.
You can follow Wimpy too, though. He's a good guy.
But yeah, we'll just let the credits run out here, get the full item count for Relkin. Probably gonna be he did have to do almost all of GT Basement, but on the other hand, he was able to go mode Swamp and Ice, so... I don't know what okay.
2-minute menu time, I mean, that's a pretty solid thing right there. That's an underrated skill to have, and looks like a 148 collection, right?
Yeah, I was gonna guess somewhere in the 150s, so... I was a little high, but yeah. You know, that GT Basement did kind of push up his collection rate, what you're gonna do.
I mean, anytime you sub 130 a race like this, you did good. You did really good there. So, man, you know, GG's to Relkin indeed, and GG's to Hobojim for, you know, giving it the fight. Unfortunately, kind of went the other way. I guess it's time to sign off here. So, I'm Dazed Cloud. I'm going to give it to Drossi for the final words here. But everybody, have a great night. Thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, and if you're looking for more ALTTPR League, we still have 3 more races tonight on different channels. On the ALTTPR League channel, we have a race that's just gotten underway between Flip Peel and Diesel Martini. On the Made Speed Gaming channel, we have a race that's going to get underway in 10 minutes between Gamma Chew and Willard J. Bradley. And those teams, Team Kappa and WJPTBB, are actually doing a double header. So that race will be immediately followed by Fear Agent versus Brewers Fan JP. So, yeah, got a few more races for you tonight. And do give this channel and the ALTTPR League channel a follow, as well as the Speed Gaming families of channels, because we have 64 races a week. We are restreaming most of them, so you're going to want to catch as many as you can. It's a really fun time. And, Ambrosia this week, Enemizer next week, Mystery Seed the week after that. We're keeping it interesting for you. So, yeah, it's been fun. Thanks again for watching. Thanks to Dazed Cloud here for joining me in the commentary booth. I'm Drosy1, and have a great night.